And we got across to more breaking news coming in. A huge crack that has emerged on a road in Chennai that has got the residents worried. In fact, this is a residential road where the crack has suddenly developed. Building work, heavy machine that have been used time and again have been blamed by the residents so far. But the reason for why this crack has emerged is still being investigated. Those are the pictures on your screens that show you the extent of the crack that has emerged on this particular road, where residents came out in panic and they quickly rushed out of their homes worrying whether they were safe or not. Railway station that is bound in this particular area has also reported traffic issues due to the same. But so far, this Civic issue that has drawn everyone's attention living in and around this area. Let me cut across to Anagha Keshav joining us on the phone line. Anagha, this is seriously concerning and it's a huge crack that has emerged on the road. Has there been an investigation by the civic authorities to why this has happened? Are they trying to fix it? What are the residents saying?
Well, in fact, we are reporting from Perungudi, which is very close to the Perungudi railway station, and I just want to show you a nearby construction site and kind of explain as to what could have possibly triggered this huge massive crack. That you see, that particular huge pit over there, that's this private builder who was trying to build a foundation for a new apartment, a high-rise apartment that we believe was being constructed. We're also being told by the locals over here that they were trying to build some sort of parking space in the basement area, and that's why this particular land was dug really deep. And you can also see how there's also drainage water over there. That explains how some of the water could have seeped from underground and reached the black soil beneath this particular road. Questions are also being raised about whether proper permission was sought for such a construction, because as you can clearly see, there's black cotton soil that's being dug up over there. Certainly not healthy for road construction and construction. So a lot of questions are being raised about whether proper documents were being signed, whether permission was obtained. And what I want to show you is the massive crack that was triggered because of this foundation. That you can see, it's a huge crack. We believe it's a 70-meter crack. You can see that scary visual over there, how it doesn't look like some sort of road caving. This is basically earth that has caved in because of this massive underground construction over here. In fact, it's just scary to even imagine what would have happened if there was a car that was passing by. Because on to my right, what I see is another apartment with actual living people inside. This entire stretch is it's a residential stretch with people living by. It's very scary. This entire road has been barricaded, not really allowing any vehicle movement. I just want to show you this cracked road again. If I can just request my camera person to pan over here. It's a huge crack. I don't know to what extent you can really see in the camera, but it's a huge pit that's triggered because of the underground construction over here. We believe really huge machinery was used to dig up. There was also huge vehicle movement, tractors and cranes that was being brought in, and certainly the ground could not withstand the kind of intense vibration that was done during the ground digging, and that has triggered this sort of crack, is what even the officers have confirmed to us. Yesterday, the GCC Regional Deputy Commissioner, Mr. Altaf Rasool, he was here at around 7 o'clock to inspect the spot. After this, a special team, a technical team from IIT Madras and Anna University has been roped in to assess and inspect as to what exactly has triggered this particular crack. But initial reports have certainly confirmed, and even our ground reports here, what we know for sure is that it is this underground reckless construction that we highly doubt has obtained proper consent and permission from the government that's underway over here. That has triggered this dangerous, fatal crack that you see over here. What makes it all the more scary is that this stretch is it's a residential stretch. There are real people living here. From this corner to that corner, there are apartments. This entire road has been barricaded, and we believe that when this crack opened up yesterday, there was a huge explosion-like sound, and people came out of their apartments panicking in fear, and all of them are still living in fear if their apartment would also be under such crack, or if there would be any such danger to their apartment as well next. We need to wait and watch when this particular road will be fixed. The GCC has told us that by today evening or maximum tomorrow, the reconstruction work will begin in, certainly raising a lot of questions about the way in which the real estate and private builders operate along with the GCC here in Tamil Nadu.
Of course, Anika, and all these factors that need to be looked into. Why did this crack appear in the first place? Is there any sort of corruption that led to permissions that were granted but were not in the rightful interest of the people who are living here? They must be living in fear, and for obvious reasons, to how safe are they and their day-to-day lives that are taking that hit because they are not being able to use this road anymore. And why such a delay by the authorities, even in terms of fixing the road at the earliest? Just last week, Anika, we had reported how a 17-year-old student had lost his life in that electrocution because the wires were exposed in the rain, and despite repeated calls that had gone to the electricity department to have it fixed, their calls were dismissed, they were not taken, they were disconnected, and that led to the life of an innocent 17-year-old. It is high time that the authorities act up.
Well, that's right. In fact, apart from the electrocution death, there was also another such similar instance of a sinkhole that appeared shockingly in the same Taramani area where this crack has appeared. That sinkhole happened in the main road, and what happened there was that a cab fell right inside the sinkhole with passengers. We believe all the passengers had a narrow escape from death. In fact, the driver of that car, when he was recounting that horrific incident, even broke down when he was mentioning what had happened. Such scary incidents happening here in Chennai, but it looks like the officers or anybody from GCC have turned a blind eye towards these horrific incidents. One can only imagine the fear with which the residents are living in their apartments here. Imagine a huge, massive earth crack right in front of your residence. You're not allowed to come out, you're not allowed to take your two-wheelers or even your cars because the entire road is barricaded, and you don't know when another such fatal crack could appear. That's the kind of panic and fear that the residents of this area are living in. In fact, the construction builders over here, had they paid extra attention to this particular work, this incident could have totally been avoided. If they had built a concrete wall over here, dug of course deep underground, that could have maybe held the soil here in this road together and prevented this massive crack. But no such precaution, Suesha, was taken. In fact, they even went on to dig this ground deeper and deeper without paying any hoots about the technical feasibility. They've gone on digging it to the point that the drainage water has surfaced, and it's clearly shown that the drainage water in this particular construction site that's running underground has seeped in via the soil underground and has finally loosened the soil beneath this road. And that could have been the main reason why such a severe crack has appeared. Very scary. Just imagine if there was a car that was going by this road when this incident happened. A narrow escape, Suesha, for all the residents of this road, raising alarming questions about the way in which officers operate in Chennai.
Oh yes, absolutely. Anika, I want to thank you for getting us the latest. Of course, we'll keep coming back to you to get the latest on how the authorities now managed to cover the situation.